out of the end zone. So Utah must convert on its yardage. Fresno must convert on its wonderful opportunity here and get the ball in the end zone itself. So the second half will be even more interesting, I predict.
And Jeff Hanna is ready to get the second half underway. Deshaun Crockett, Patrick Dyson both deep for the Utes. Not much to show for their ability to march up and down the field. They did get the touchdown by Mike Anderson, a 34-yard scamper. So we start over. Hanna drives this one to Dyson, who muffs it, picks it up, muffs it again. Finally Crockett with a nifty spin move and out of bounds at the 12. All that for 8 yards on the return. We check in downstairs with Dave Ryan. We will get Dave Ryan's mic fixed momentarily. We'll check in with him as soon as we can. Darnell Arsenault came in middle of the second quarter when T.D. Croshaw sustained a shoulder bruise, and Bill 4 out of 5 for 24 yards. He didn't show much, if any, rust at all, having not played in either of their last 2 regular season games.
He looked sharp.
Give it to Anderson on first down. And the bruising senior, 26-year-old former Marine from Winsboro, South Carolina, pounds for a pickup of about 7 into the arms of the middle linebacker Tim Skipper. Smallest middle backer in the country, but first team all-WAC last year and second team all-conference this year. Another one out of a football family. His father Jimmy, the running backs coach for the New York Giants. There are coaches' kids all over the field out there. Anderson will be close to the first down here. He had a spectacular first half. 76 yards on his first play from scrimmage. You go back to the last 4 games of the regular season. 80 against BYU out of the team total of 96. Big yardage against New Mexico, not much at all against Wyoming, and somewhere in the middle against Colorado State. Today 163 of their 197 on 14 carries. So he has shown the ability to pick up the short yardage. He's also shown he has breakaway speed, and he has the first down here.
While his offensive line mates haven't done a very good job of pass protection, they have blocked extremely well in the run game, opening gaping holes, and when he gets those things, he knows exactly what to do. He's strictly north and south, Dave. He splatters headgear.
First down from the 23. Arsenault hoisting one up. Incomplete, overthrown, intended for Boo Bendinger.
Arsenault's pass.
I'm impressed with Arsenault. I like what I've seen of his touch. I like his poise. Everybody talks about his mobility. We really haven't seen that very much, Dave. But if he gets in trouble, he can create on his own, meaning he can move in the pocket or explode out of the pocket and run for first downs. And that's something, that's an advantage that Croshaw does not give his team.
He and Croshaw both juniors, so they come back for one more year, and they should be pretty well set at quarterback in 2000. Anderson seemed to bobble it after the exchange. May have thrown his timing off just enough to limit him to very short yards. T.D. Croshaw, they said they would reevaluate at the half, and you see that the shoulder pads are still off, and that evaluation is he will not play the second half.
One of the really good things about college football is that in virtually every program, young men are not asked to go back in the game when they shouldn't. They may beg you to play, but the doctors and trainers rule supreme on those kinds of decisions. So if he shouldn't be playing for personal health reasons, that's why he's not out there, and that's good logic by the physicians.
Arsenault looks up, sees the play clock winding steadily down on him, and burns the timeout. So they'll look at a 3rd and 8 with 12:47 to go in the third quarter when we come back to Vegas.
Hi. Hi there, Michael Landrum for Timex, here with the Timex Turn and Pull Alarm Watch. Just turn the ring either way and pull the crown to set it for short or long-term reminders. Let's try setting it for 11 minutes. Just turn the ring and pull the crown. Tune in next week when we discuss walking. The Timex Turn and Pull Alarm Watch. So simple, we should have thought of it years ago.
Sorry. Not enough. No, still short.
For the great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Paper or plastic? Paper.
Make it a Bud Light.
Guys, need a receipt?
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 1999 EA Sports Las Vegas Bowl is brought to you by MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. The City of Entertainment is proud to be the host hotel and sponsor for EA Sports Las Vegas Bowl 8. And by Chrysler, giving you back the romance of driving.
Well, just a couple of months from now, we'll be right back here for the ESPY Awards, which move to the MGM Grand here in Las Vegas in February. Arsenault had to call time. He looks at 3rd and 8 with Russell, Bendinger, and Utu all wide right. Anderson by him in the shotgun. Arsenault, the out pattern is caught and full stride by Donnie Utu near midfield. 24-yard strike.
Number 25, Donnie Utu, is the guy that came through big time in the BYU game. This is not a pretty pass. It's a little bit of a duck, but it's right where it needs to be, and a terrific catch. That's hard to do. Nice concentration and hanging on to the ball even when he hits the ground.
Utu really emerged almost out of nowhere as a big threat against Brigham Young. 8 of his 23 catches for the year in that game. And Arsenault shows how he escapes. Magnificent job of picking up a yard. Jumped right over Nick Burley, kept right on going, and let's hope that Dave Ryan's mic is working now. Dave?
Well, it sounds a lot better, Dave. I think it is. Thanks. Now, Darnell Arsenault is the man for Utah in the second half. As you mentioned a moment ago, T.D. Croshaw is out with that strained right shoulder. It says he can't lift his arm above his shoulder, so he's done. Arsenault, though, re-aggravated a mid-foot sprain in the first half. That went back to an injury that happened early in the season, one of his many injuries throughout the year. He told me running out onto the field for the second half, the injury's all right, but his mobility could be compromised a bit because he did strain it in that opening half. Now, as for Coach Ron McBride, he says we've got to finish our drives, less penalties, and, of course, big improvement up front on special teams.
Yeah, they handed us a whole long list of his many injuries. The sprained foot was only one of a litany, including a hand problem, strep throat, concussion. There is injury right there in the middle of the Fresno State bench, and it's Tabiti Lockhart, the nose tackle, that they're checking on.
So many times you come into a bowl game and you lose just a little bit of conditioning, and the guys aren't as sharp as they normally are, and the injuries really do mount. Not unusual.
So for the moment, Grant Harrington is the nose tackle while Lockhart gets an evaluation. Injured at the end of that scramble by Arsenault. There's Harrington, sophomore from Visalia, California. Much smaller, just 5'11", 260. With up some size now. 2nd and 7. Anderson hit at the line. Mike Anderson with a spectacular first half, carrying the Utah offense.
Right out of the shadow of the goalpost in his own end zone, he makes a very clear statement on play number 1, what kind of day it's going to be. 76 yards. beautiful job of reading his blockers and cut to the outside, back to the inside, down the sideline, in this case, back to the middle of the field and running over the free safety. He can do it all.
Blitz comes. They pick it up on 3rd and 6. Incomplete this time as again he tries to find Bounty Utu. Tyrell Grayson coming hard on the blitz. Arsenault throws incomplete. They'll have to kick.
Arsenault continues to show poise. That throw was pretty good. Not perfect, but the kind of throw that you would have thought that Utu would make, especially after the spectacular previous catch.
Chris Hunter not very busy in that first half that moved the ball so well. Charles Smith looks for this around the 10-yard line. And he'll make the fair catch at the 17. 31-yard kick. Greatest night in sports right here in Las Vegas. Monday, February 14th. We will be talking about the ESPY Awards live from the MGM Grand Hotel. Plans for the biggest and best show yet well underway, and will feature not only the best athletes of 1999 but also of the decade. Tickets are on sale now. To obtain more information, call the MGM Grand at 1-800-929-1111. More, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, and you can come out here and be part of the ESPYs. February 14th. Billy Volek starts with a give to Derek Ward. They ran for 54 yards, passed for only 49, a total of 103 managed in that half by Fresno State. Their touchdown coming on the block kick return, block field goal return by Peyton Williams.
They've really been good up front all day. The very thing that the coaches feared, Pat Hill and the staff, their big guys just haven't measured up to the big guys of Utah. They haven't been able to block them.
Volek looking to go deep, and up the side it is caught, and it is inbounds for Charles Smith. That was the only question. It was the best thrown pass of the night. Hit him in stride, and he is in bounds, and it's 40 yards.
Billy Volek, uncanny accuracy. Jeff Ray on the coverage here. They went right after the substitute. Jeff hadn't been in the game long. They did it with their speed, and they did it with a precision coach, a precision throw. The official's right on the spot, and he called it in, so it's in. Just like the old umpire, that ball down the foul line, everybody's yelling fair, foul, fair, foul. He said it ain't nothing till I call it. Well, that official called it, and that's what it is. But you could argue about it. Of course, he was on that sideline with the white shirts. You know, I asked a friend of mine that's a real good official, do you think you guys ever really just intentionally make mistakes? He said, we can't think fast enough to think I'm for this team or that team, and I'm going to call this thing for the other team. We just call what we see.
I think they got that one right. Throw was just in for Charles Smith, so it stands at 40 yards. They come after Volek, and the ball is deflected by Olivao, and a marker down in the Fresno State backfield. Kautai Olivao has been everywhere.
Personal foul, roughing a quarterback on the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Boy, this really helps the Fresno State cause.
It really helps, and this is a very dangerous and important time in this game for Utah. This quarterback's starting to get hot, and he's the kind of guy that can beat you to death when he does that.
Taulia Lave.
Taulia Lave is a little late. That wasn't a flagrant hit, but it was a little late. Now, you let him get untracked and he gets this thing in the end zone, he could get real dangerous.
10 penalties. Only one against Fresno State. Harris Gaines to the 16. So as you watch this unfold, it's less and less mysterious why Utah is still mired at 7-7 despite their ability to move the ball, hurting themselves on special teams and way too many penalties. And now Paris Gaines is slow getting up. Boy, it's almost every other place somebody's injured. Let's check in down below with Dave Ryan.
Well, Davis, Bill Curry was mentioning a moment ago about Fresno State being physical. That's exactly what head coach Pat Hill said to me coming off the field after the first half. He felt up front with the offensive line. His team had to be a lot more physical and create plays, make things happen, especially inside the red zone. We'll see if they come through with what the coach wanted to do in the second half.
Yeah, and at long last, there was some activity with the guards and centers for Fresno State's offensive line, getting Paris Gaines untracked prior to the injury that he sustained there. Nice job up front. That's just plain old blocking him. Rob Gettrell, Rodney Michael, Mike Stovall doing a good job against those big front people. Garrett Smith. Kemoeatu. They've been giving him fits up there. Got him blocked that time.
So Gaines is out. He's replaced by freshman Marcellus Armstrong. Now a two-way player. They've also got him at the cornerback occasion. Armstrong with his first carry. So shows some quick feet. Spins inside the 10-yard line into the tackle by Kimball Christensen, the strong safety.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch Marcellus play defense the other day. Now we see him in the game on offense. We went to practice and watched him work at corner, and he hit that hole like he'd been doing it all his life, right up the pipe, made a nice move, a good spin, got the ball down to almost the 10-yard line. Fresno's another good red zone team.
Armstrong out there. Ward checks in. 4 wides. 2nd and 4. Another one batted down at the line of scrimmage. John Frank, the conference defensive player of the year, the all-time leading sack man in Utah history. Even surpassed the record of Luther Ellis. He's maybe even a little quicker than Luther Ellis, and this is good evidence here.
In tape study of Utah, one of the things they do best is to get their hands up. That's coaching. Frank has been well coached. He's got the best vertical jump on the team. For a 270-pound man, that's nice work.
Blitz comes on 3rd and 4. Volek retreating, finally has to throw it away. It was Kimball Christensen coming on a safety blitz. No flag, but Volek flat on his back.
A blitz out of the safety position coming from the secondary cannot be accounted for by anybody other than the quarterback and a receiver. He comes from deep. That ball's got to be gone. You just have to hope, if you're a Fresno fan, that the injury's minor. It was a clean shot. Ball was just thrown. Safeties love to get in there and get a shot at the quarterback with nobody blocking on them. Linemen love to catch those little safeties coming in the B gap and unload on them, but there was no lineman present at that time. So it was Volek's job to see it and unload the ball, which he did.
And he looks like he may be okay. It's very different on the bench for Fresno State. They don't have the 2 quarterbacks who have both seen action like Utah. Jeff Grady is a freshman who only threw 3 passes and completed 1 all season. Saw action in 6 games.
Well, they've been 64% touchdowns down here in the red zone. They don't like having to kick this thing.
That has got a 27-yarder lined up right between the hash marks. Finally, a kick that is not blocked.
Son of a gun. You mean they didn't block that thing?
Didn't know if we'd see one of those tonight. 10-7. Fresno State breaks the tie.
We are in for a battle tonight.
This is your night, baby. Let's go get it. Time to spend the money. Come on.
Don't take it from it. I'm a bad man. I shook up the world. I must be the greatest.
Meet Cyber Ali and his chump-dumping, hammer-happy, hit-the-canvas, this-and-down, boom-boom banshees. Knockout Kings 2000. EA Sports. It's in the game.
The luxurious Jeep Grand Cherokee with QuadraDrive, our most advanced 4-wheel drive system ever. You can travel to the world's most exotic places. So there's no limit to what you might come across.
I need a vacation.
power of the Pentium 3 processor. But just get onto the internet, get into it at Intel.com.
What's on the line? The nation's longest winning streak and a whole lot of pride. The Motor City Bowl, Marshall BYU, December 27th at 1:30 on ESPN.
Fresno State may have lost their quarterback, at least temporarily, but they have gained a 10-7 lead. Jeff Hanna's crew from 27 yards out here on ESPN2, 10-7. Volek apparently okay. Landed perhaps a little awkwardly. Dyson and Crockett are back. And it bounces this one to Crockett at the 2. Away from that first wave, but still not much yardage at all, and will tack on a late hit at the end of the return at the 18-yard line. Marcellus Armstrong, it looked like over there.
When you get to the sideline and you're trying to do your job, and it's Marcellus Armstrong again, this time busting it down, covering the kick. You get to the sideline, you're just not real sure where it is.
On a kicking team, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
And he was definitely late. The ball carrier was out of bounds. It was a shot he should not have taken. And there's really no excuse for it. You can tell right there he's not happy with himself. And he does not want to see Pat Hill right now, because what you don't want to do at a time like this is let that other team get good field position, and that's exactly what Marcellus just did.
They were going to be well inside their 20. Instead, they start from their 32. Anderson lining up behind Arsenault. Mike Anderson, 16 carries tonight, has 166 yards and their touchdown. And they screen it to him. Set up nicely. Anderson good to go. Up the side and out of bounds near midfield.
And what we're seeing here, Dave, is the advantage, and it is a supreme advantage, of having two starting quarterbacks. Arsenault has been waiting in the wings. He hasn't just been sitting around. He's been studying. He's been working. He's making touch passes. He sprints to his right, gets off the ground, makes a perfect throw to Mike Anderson. The most dropped pass in all of football is the screen. It must be thrown perfectly, and that's a tough throw and a well-executed play. Nice job by Darnell Arsenault.
Anderson, keep in mind, playing with a broken hand sustained November 20th at BYU. Still had it fairly heavily wrapped yesterday.
Yeah, but when you're in the Marines, you just spit on those.
It's still attached?
If it's still on there, you're playing. If the bone ain't showing, you're going.
It'd be real tough to go to him and explain how tough practice is.
Yeah, he said guys start complaining about training camp. Said, let me tell you about Somalia. You said that earlier, but that really got my attention. That's tough. He said, let me tell you about Paris Island. That's tough.
Problem with the chain over there on the far side. Trying to do some quick repairs.
You would think with our technology that we could make a chain that would not get all tangled up.
You know, funny you should mention that. With our technology, why do we even still need chains with all the lasers and everything we've got?
Because big old clumsy linemen like me trip over them when you're coming out of bounds.
Dave Ryan.
Oh, guys, a very emotional moment for the second leading rusher in the Fresno State ground attack, Paris Gaines. He is severely sprained his right knee. They're iced it. He's on crutches now. Unfortunately for him, the tears are really flowing because he knows he's out of the game. And he's heading off now to the locker room for further observation. Tough moment for him after someone who's worked so hard.
It sure is. There have been way too many guys exiting this game. Gaines just the latest. Volek, moments later, he apparently is ready to come back the next series. Anderson, 9 or 10 right through the gut. Down near the 43.
You give this guy just a sliver of daylight, and he starts ripping and snorting. He's the kind of guy, he's not as big as Ron Dane, but he makes me think You know, I wonder if I'd really like to get in front of this. Look at those pads come down. Look at the arm tackles being ripped through. The guy's a football player. He's going to be playing for a long time after this.
What would you do if you're an NFL team looking at a 26-year-old? How much do you count off for the age factor?
I don't think it's a factor.
Breaks and tackle at the line. Got about 5 where it looked like there might be none. He got away from Orlando Huff and then finally driven out of bounds by Lawrence Deck.
Back to your question, Dave, I think the maturity factor with all the problems that youngsters are having, it's not just athletes that have problems in society, but athletes get featured when they make mistakes. Somebody that's mature, that's 26, I think actually has an advantage in the draft because the guy is going to show up where he's supposed to show up and do what he's supposed to do.
Some obvious shoulder pad repairs needed, so he's out momentarily. Arsenault should have been caught right to Cliff Russell. Russell, fastest man on the team, even faster than Smith. Somewhere south of 4.4 in the 40. Didn't bring that one in.
That was a fine, veteran, experienced decision by Arsenault. He doesn't try to force the downfield route. He's got the nice 9 or 10 yard gain. Russell just can't come down with it because he doesn't look at the tip of the football. To catch a football, you have to focus on the tip and catch it in your fingers.
So 2nd and 10. And it's Omar Bacon making the most of the equipment repair break that Mike Anderson's taken. He goes 15 yards, and most of their big runs right between the tackles. That's where Utah's been dominant. Another injured player. I mean, it is almost every single play now that they're dropping. Utah has one to check on now.
It's really a tough thing for coaches during bowl preparation. How hard do you work your men? You got to get them in shape because they're going to lose some conditioning. That's inevitable. But then do you get them tired? Then you come to the site of the bowl and there are all these activities and everybody's having fun and rah-rah and a whole lot of food and hospitality suites, and you just get games like this sometime.
Scott Price is the injured Utah tight end, sophomore from Castle Dale, Utah.
You know, every time Omar Bacon has handled the ball, he's looked just about as good as Mike Anderson. So they got a double whammy coming at you here now with those big guys up front doing a really fine job. Lewis Park, number 76, the guard. Batalii, the center. Sam White, the guard. We had a nice visit with Sam yesterday, and he talked about how close this offensive line is. Jordan Gross, a true freshman, starting at right tackle. Doug Calfusi at left tackle.
So off goes Price. Anderson and Bacon, both seniors. Those are important shoes they're going to have to fill next year in Salt Lake City. They have averaged 8.3 yards per rush. The Utah running game. Yet they trail 10-7. Bacon breaking more tackles. Still going to the 5. It's 1st and goal.
Yeah, that's Josh Cochran, number 58 at right tackle, clearing the way. I had it wrong. Gross is at left tackle. Josh Cochran does a wonderful job here, and Bacon is making his statement. Hey, I can run this football too. Wonderful vision. Look at the cut. A 360 pivot, putting the ball against his chest. Good ball security. Nice play by Bacon.
19 yards. He's carried it 9 times for 66. Anderson back in there. He's 18 carries for 180. His 19th carry. He bounces outside. Keeps the legs going all the way to the touchdown to put Utah on top.
And it'll be a long time before you see a better run than that. This team is accustomed to coming down into the red zone and scoring touchdowns. 77% of the time they've been able to do that. Tonight they've been frustrated. 2 more missed tackles accounted for by Anderson's power, balance, and determination. He and his buddy Bacon are making those linemen look even better than they are. Big linemen love that stuff.
First lead of the night for the Utes. Cletus Truey, perfect on the year. 29 of 29 on PATs, and they're short one man, and so scrambling to get out there, Michael Richardson, but they will have to use a timeout. Timeout, Utah. But Mike Anderson powering his way to the end zone to give them at last a lead in Vegas.
Bob Vila tells homeowners how to get out from under credit card debt.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila, and these are offers to get credit cards. It's pretty easy to get them, not so easy to get out from under the bills. How many credit card bills do you get each month? 3, 5, more? And how much interest are you paying? 16, 18%? Do you even know? And don't be fooled by introductory rates that only last a few months. You can eliminate those bills. You can stop paying that high interest. Here's how. Just call Home 123. The loan counselors at Home 123 will show you how to turn your high-interest credit card bills into one bill that's probably a lot less than you're paying now. And the interest may even be tax-deductible, unlike credit card interest. Imagine just one bill a month and money left in your pocket. So, if you own your own home, call Home 123 right now and discover how to get rid of all those credit card bills. Call 1-800-HOME-123 or visit us on the web at home123.com. It's how to get the money you need.
Hoops is staying home for the Jimmy V Classic.
Indiana, North Carolina, that means the General Robert Montgomery night. I can't wait. Let me get there. Get the bus going.
First up, the General's big game Hoosier A.J. Guyton takes on Tar Heel playmaker Ed Cota. Then, the Scarlet Knights will have their hands full when they wrestle Billy Donovan's Gators, led by super sophomore Mike Miller. Indiana, North Carolina at 7, Rutgers, Florida at 9. The Jimmy V Classic, Tuesday on ESPN.
Ron McBride's seen a little of everything tonight. Had 10 men on the field for their point after attempt, so they had to use their second timeout. They have only one left, and we're 7:21 to go in the third quarter. And Michael Richardson sprinted out there. They still had to call time, and now they're ready for Truey to attempt the PAT for a 4-point lead. (14-10) Utah.
They almost got that one, Dave. They are mauling them up front on that team.
This is with a quarter and a half still to go. He has set the bowl record here in Las Vegas with 185 yards, almost 10 yards per carry. You kind of knew on his first play from scrimmage he was feeling it tonight. 76 yards from his own 2.
Yeah, he's something very special, and those guys up front have been special for him tonight.
They got nothing out of that 76-yard drive. That ended up in the first block field goal by Fresno State. But now perhaps starting to get a little control of this thing. Utah 438 total yards. They've allowed only 161. Yet this is the first time all night they have the lead.
They don't give you any points for those yards gained. You've got to take it in the end zone. One of the marvelous things about football is it teaches you how to complete tasks. That time they did.
Golden Wetman sends that one all the way through the end zone. (7:14 to go in the third quarter. As we thought, Volek didn't appear to be all that badly shaken up. Right back into the game. Guy ran the wing T in high school. He was the only quarterback on the roster his first year at Fresno State. They really had some rebuilding to do. Pat Hill took over 3 years ago. 61 scholarship players, no wide receivers on scholarships on the roster. 3 years later, 8 wins in the postseason. Derek Ward on the carry. Remember, Harris Gaines out. Injured on that last series.
Yeah, and Pat and John Baxter, one of his coaches, have put together a superb academic support system that's actually being recognized nationally. And Jill Baxter, who happens to be the daughter of Ron McBride, administers it. She's an attorney herself, so it's an impressive program in all the areas that count.
Ed Hill saying yesterday the man who gave him his passion for coaching, Ron McBride, who coached him as a player.
It makes for some interesting family matchups and tough time at Christmas.
Yep.
Vicki McBride was saying, look, everybody's coming for Christmas and somebody's not going to be happy. She said, we got 112 teams in Division 1A and look who we have to play.
See, I think you look at it the other way. You'll find a reason to be happy either way.
That was your answer to her, and that was a very good answer.
I don't think they bought it. Bernard Berrien makes that catch to set up 3rd and 4. Volek. Is it a trap or not for Billy Jack Pierce? It is incomplete. Utah fans finally with a reason to make some noise. They get a 3-and-out right after their offense gives them the lead.
Yeah, that was the first crucial drive in this game for Fresno. They really needed to make something happen here. We're getting late in the 3rd quarter, and they continue to struggle offensively, if not worse than struggle.
Joel Comfort, a master at avoiding allowing punts to be returned. Only 78 return yards by their opponents all season. That is phenomenal. And you see more evidence of that emphasis here. Flag down at the end of the return of a 51-yard boomer by Comfort. And you talk about 12 games into the season. All 12 of your opponents total 78 yards on all their punt returns.
Illegal block in the back above the waist by the receiving team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Even with the illegal block, they lost yardage on the return.
They lost yardage before the illegal block was called. And what this kind of thing does for you, it allows them, they average 40 yards per punt. Their net punt, Dave, is 39.6 yards. So when you net 39 and your opponent's net 32, that's 3/4 of a first down with every exchange. That is a lot of field position over 12 games. That's a critical field position aspect of winning football. And that's how they're staying in this game.
Back to the bad field position they dealt with in the first half. Anderson closing in on 200 yards. That's going to get him right at about 190. Coming up Wednesday night at 7:30 here on ESPN2, it's the inaugural Mobile Bowl. TCU featuring the nation's leading rusher, LaDainian Tomlinson, against East Carolina. Back-to-back trips to the postseason for the first time since the Bob Lilly era for the Horned Frogs, 1959. East Carolina hoping to finish at times tragic season in style, and it all begins at 7 with Game Night from ESPN and ESPN2. That will be first down yardage. Alan Nicholas making the stop on Anderson, whose career best game is 204 yards against New Mexico. And he will pretty well shatter that and have one more quarter to add to it further.
Yeah, this is not New Mexico he's played against. This is one of the better rush defenses in the West, and they're just hammering.
Fresno State allowed only 127 yards per game on the ground. There's another 5 or 6 and may have coughed it up at the end of the run. Anderson.
He did cough it up, but it looks like he ended up with it. And that's the one thing. His power continues to wear down the defensive front of Fresno. And he is a field position changer. They start deep in their own territory, and inevitably, Fresno has not been able to take advantage of the field position because of the blocking of the front of Utah and the running of Anderson and Bacon. But especially Anderson.
Anderson out for this play, replaced by Bacon. Mike at 202 yards now. Reverse for Russell. With Russell Tripped up right at the first down marker by Dante Marsh, just as he was about to get those jets pumping at 4.34 speed.
Big mistake by Russell there. He had blockers in front of him, and you don't always get that on a reverse. He had a nice open field if he just turns on that 4.34 right here, but he starts dancing, and he allows the defense and the person of Dyson to come up and make the play, so it's a short gain instead of what might have been a much longer one.
Also coming wide right. Trouble in the backfield for Arsenault. Dropped for a loss inside the 25 by Alan Harper, first team All-WAC. Sophomore out of Fontana, California, who excels at escaping double teams.
A guy like Harper's going to be double teamed very often. He comes all the way across the face of the center with just excellent balance, keeps his feet moving, and runs right through the quarterback's legs. That's a dangerous kind of sack, but totally legal. Nice play by Harper.
Top sack man on the Bulldog defense. Now Bacon, just like the last series, he's well into the secondary before anybody has a hand on him. What a tandem they've been. That's 13 more yards for Omar Bacon.
Yeah, you just can't say enough about Talai, Lewis Park, Sam White, Josh Cochran. Those guys are just knocking them around up there, and the Fresno defense is going to have to blitz and stunt and do something to slow up this offensive unit. Right now is a perfect time for them to get them stopped on this 3rd and 4.
Bacon and Anderson are tag teaming him right now. Omar 6 carries, 79 yards. 7th play of the drive, and they need 3. Arsenault with time. Flag is down, running out of room, and caught from behind by Jason Stewart, but we might have holding.
Terrell Grayson comes to make the tackle on the play.
If the flag does not negate this run, he shows you why he's so dangerous.
On the offense.
It will negate it.
Well, even so, he shows you why he's dangerous. Just as it started to collapse is where the flag flew, but I'm not sure he even needed the hold to get out in space on the right side. He had enough speed to get there without the extra help. So they're going to back up in what was a 3rd and 3. They need to get to the 41, and they're going to snap this one 20 yards away.
Yeah, that was essentially an 18-yard penalty from deep in the backfield. And Arsenault, playing on a sore ankle, had just taken another hit on that sore ankle before he ran for the first down, Dave. So we're seeing some courage out here on both sides.
All T.D. Croshaw can do is help signal in the plays. Out since early in the first half, Reese shoulder. Arsenault, nice stretching catch momentarily, and unable to hang on is Boo Bendinger. Thrown a little high. He had plenty of room if that ball is even 6 inches lower.
So the holding call, critical penalty at a crucial time, really means a lot to Fresno. This time they've got to do something and get their offense untracked and get down the field to change the sense in this game that Utah's in total command.
Well, is it time for another block kick?
They're going to try it, I believe.
10 men coming after him. They don't get it. Hunter's punt takes a Utah bounce. And they'll mark it out at the 40. 39-yard punt. Down to Dave Ryan.
All right, Dave, thanks a lot. We're with Billy Volek's parents. John is here and Vicky here as well. John is the head football coach at Sacramento State, Division I AA. And you were telling me a moment ago about his incredible interception ratio, and it really dates back to his childhood.
Well, Billy has great eye-hand coordination, great vision, and he's a definite competitor who loves to win.
What have you told him leading up to this week? Any special advice from Coach?
Bring home a victory. You know, that's he knows what to do, and he's going to run the game plan and execute everything the coaches want him to do.
Now to you, Vicky, it can't be easy to watch your son play. I know a lot of injuries out here today, and Billy went down for a while. What are the emotions like from your mom's standpoint?
Well,
it scares you when they're hit and go down, but he's a tough player, and he'll do great. I just want to say hi to Carrie at home. We miss you, Carrie.
That was my next question. Carrie is Billy's wife and a brand new mom. Little Morgan's doing very well, we understand, about a month old. Too young to travel, though, for the trip, right?
Yeah, she wanted to come. She really wanted to be here, but, you know, they're at home watching.
Well, congratulations, guys. She's a grandma for the 5th time. Let's go back upstairs.
They are. Congratulations as well. Pass drop by Berrien, 2nd and 10. He is now at 197 consecutive passes without an interception. Marcellus Armstrong to the 41 of Utah, picks up 19. Defense back on their heels a little bit, and Armstrong gashes them. The true freshman from Fresno's McLean High School, where he set a San Joaquin Valley record, 2,208 yards, 32 touchdowns last year as a senior. Managed to keep him home. Volek through the hands of Rodney Wright.
Billy Volek needs some help from his friends right now, more than a little. And Rodney Wright needs to make that catch. He's a big-time player. He's made plays all year. That ball hit him right in the hands. He knows it. Volek knows it. That's the sort of thing, I don't care how tough you are, and of course Volek's tough, and his dad's exactly right. Guy knows how to win, but he's got to have some help from his teammates, somebody other than Marcellus.
44 and counting in the quarter. Wright hangs on to this one. Extra effort, may be close for a first down at the 31-yard line. Sheldon Deckard, who backs up the injured Howard Christensen at Rover. Redshirt freshman out of St. George, Utah. Making the tackle, perhaps close enough for a measurement. In fact, we will get an official timeout at 43.7 seconds.
Another impressive thing about the offensive line, they may not be as physical as Utah, Fresno's offensive line, but they're up and hustling down the field. Rodney Michael, the redshirt freshman center, throwing blocks down the field for his receiver. Good hustle by the offensive line of Fresno.
That close. So a couple of inches to go. He'll have a 3rd down play coming. Extra tight end checks in. Brandstetter and Billy Jack Pierce.
Billy Jack Pierce is one of those unsung heroes. He makes key blocks in situations like this frequently. Studying their tapes, number 80, Billy Jack Pierce, goes in motion. He's expected to make key blocks. He may tell us where this football is going on this 3rd and short, or they may just sneak it.
Fresno State, as we pointed out earlier, 2nd best in the country, 50% for the year on 3rd down conversions. Tonight, just 2 of 10. They've averaged needing 5 yards on 3rd down. So what can they get with 2 inches? Well, they throw it. And they not only get the first down, a little extra yardage as well for Charles Smith. So much for smash mouth, 11 yards. That'll work.
See, I told you they're just going to ram it up in there, run the sneak, and make the first down. I just knew that.
You know, ultimately they're going to make a whack-like play at some point. Probably don't see that anywhere but the whack.
Well, I think that's just really smart. They're off. They're playing 3 deep zone. You got your fine ball carrier and Smith out there. He's going to run for the first down before he's even close to a defender. I like the call a lot.
Smith went in motion, took it on the reverse. Inside the 10, inside the 5 goes Charles Smith, and another late hit flag, maybe on face masking against Jay Hill. It's a 17-yard reverse for Charles Smith.
Fresno's offensive line is making a statement here in every conceivable way. Here's the call.
Face mask by the defense. Half the distance will be done at the end of the foul, at the end of the run. First down.
This is just excellent football by Vince Brandstetter, number 86, the tight end, who stays on his feet down the field, blocking on number 10, Kimball Christensen. Gets that corner for his running back, or rather his wide receiver, Smith, who turns the corner and takes it down inside the 5, well inside the 5.
And they'll have to traverse 98 yards to the other end of the field. End of the third quarter, Utah takes its first lead at 14-10, and they'll take it into the final 15 minutes here at Sam Boyd Stadium on a night where Mike Anderson has been the dominator. He's 2 yards shy of a career high. He already has a Las Vegas Bowl record, 202 yards on 22 carries and 2 touchdowns. We head to the fourth, 14-10.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Sugar is so sweet. The Nokia Sugar Bowl, only on NCAA Football 2000. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Howie, think fast.
A piggy bank. Cellular phone. Are you trying to tell me something?
Yes, you can buy me this for what's in this.
Buy a cellular phone for as little as a penny and get a free $50 check for airtime to help keep your family in touch.
Professor, tell us about your discovery. Absolutely. You can get all your long-distance calls for under $1.
How is that possible?
Just dial 1010-220. It's only 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes and just 9 cents a minute after that.
When do you get these rates?
Every hour of every day.
And no monthly fees.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. No monthly fees.
I told you they'd love it.
Dial 1010-220. This year, the whole world will be watching Times Square as we celebrate the biggest party in the history of our planet. Hi, I'm Dick Clark, and to celebrate this once-in-a-lifetime event, we've selected award-winning Ballatori sparkling wine. Ballatori tastes great. All of my friends here really love it. So raise a glass with the rest of the world and make sure to have plenty of Ballatori on hand wherever you're bringing in the new millennium. Ballatori, it's perfect for parties of 2 or 2 billion.
Most compact club cabs just aren't cut out for big loads. So you end up leaving a little cargo behind, having to lose a little weight, cutting your funds short. Dodge Dakota, however, is different. With more available payload, towing, and power, Dakota, anything less doesn't cut it.
Want a regular cab Dakota instead? Get a $750 cash allowance on select models.
The King Konga, the Atomic Slide, the Out Hustle, the Rockahania. Going to the big dance? March Madness 2000. EA Sports. It's in the game.
The 8th EA Sports Las Vegas Bowl. Sam Boyd Stadium, Dave Barnett with Bill Curry and Dave Ryan, and we begin the fourth quarter with the biggest snap of the night for the Bulldogs. First and goal from the 2, trailing 14-10. The get to a leaping Derek Ward touchdown.
This offense has scored touchdowns 64% of the time. When they've been inside the 20, they've scored points 87% of the time. This is the first time tonight they've actually driven the ball and knocked it in the end zone when they needed it, and they needed it desperately.
Hanna to add the extra point. He has missed 3 this year. And this one is blocked. Came right back to Hanna. 4 block kicks tonight, 3 field goals, and the PAT. And you just know that's going to loom big. It's a 2-point lead, should be 3 for Fresno State. 16-14 it remains.
One thing we haven't mentioned tonight is that sometimes special teams practice suffers during bowl preparation. That must have happened. That's the only explanation I can see. I mean, these are 2 teams that are excellent as a rule in special teams. They don't get kicks blocked. This is just a low kick. Yeah, the protection was fine. Just a very poor kick by Hanna. The ball goes right into the line, and it's batted back, and it's lying around. And either side could pick that ball up and either score the extra point or go the other way.
That actually looked like it pinballed off a couple of sets of hands.
Yep, it was just kicked low.
Let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Well, guys, Jeff Hanna had some problems in warm-ups. You were watching both kickers before the game started here tonight in Las Vegas. Everyone seemed to be kicking on each side. The ball very low. Instead of the end over end, more of a side-to-side and missing wide and very low. That seemed to be the problem in warm-ups. Looks like it's carried through to the game as well.
Don't want to be kicking those knucklers. When you're kicking your place kicker, those things are supposed to go end over end. What'd you say, Dave? Side to side? Not good.
Dyson and Crockett, the 20 men for the youth.
Hanna drives it low. Deshaun Crockett will take it at the 5. Flag is down. Well, Crockett does an amazing job maintaining his balance. 2 or 3 times he almost fell over. Continued for 32 yards. But we've got another marker to check on. One reason Utah's trailed most of the night, they have been flagged 13 times for 123. And here comes the 14th. Tough to win in the postseason with even half that many penalties.
Number 89, Matt Nickel, is the offender, and he's getting a lesson right now from the veteran coach, McBride, who knows that 14 penalties, I don't care if you're in a bowl game or in the first game or first practice of the spring, 14 is too many. Too many mistakes. And what they're doing is that they're helping Fresno to stay in the game, and Fresno's more than happy to accommodate. And having just completed their first long drive for a touchdown, now they're in a spot to see if they can get these guys in the red shirts stopped and get another one.
Nice return by Deshaun Crockett, wasted. Arsenault from the 10 with the give to Anderson. Hunts and Pexton maybe picks up a couple. So Utah trailing, keep in mind, trailing this game with this advantage in total yardage, better than a 2-to-1 advantage in favor of the Utes. 466 total yards. They've allowed only 225. Block kicks and penalties.
Football is a game of ball security, field position, hitting, and special teams. The special teams can absolutely take over. You can have no yards on offense and win the game if you're dominant in special teams. So what Fresno's done is to hang around with special teams. Now they've got their offense going, and they're back in great shape in field position. Utah needs for Mike Anderson to do his trick and change the field position as he's done all night long.
Arsenault gets it out on the side for Russell. With Russell, turns it back inside and picks up 11 yards to the 23 before he's chased down by Justin Johnston. With Russell, sophomore from Hawaii. What a Utah recruiting budget has got to take into account, no telling how many flights back and forth from the mainland to Honolulu, because they pick up a ton of talent out of that state every year.
A ton of frequent flyer miles.
Oh, hit of the night. Good heavens, administered by Justin Johnson. All Mike Anderson could do to get back up on his feet.
Fresno has survived all year by stunting and blitzing up front. They're not as physically dominant. This is the 6th tackle of the night for Johnson, and he does it because he hits the gap. And just listen to this smash. That's 2 hard noses colliding right there. Johnson having a good game, just like Anderson.
Loss of 4, play fake. Arsenault on a roll. There's Bendinger, and he dropped it. That's yet another of their problems. They've had some dropsy. Well, Wednesday night, tune into ESPN2 at 8 p.m. Eastern for the NFL Tonight Pro Bowl Selection Special. Speaking of Hawaii, the group that will head there for this year's Pro Bowl will be unveiled with Mark Malone, Tom Jackson, and Sean Salisbury examining and interviewing members of this year's Pro Bowl squads. ESPN News will release the rosters earlier on Wednesday, and at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Deuce to see the full list. Arsenault gets away from a sack. Dropped at the 15 finally. Nick Burley and Vernon Fox meet at the quarterback.
Secondary pressure again. The free safety coming from depth. He lined up at about 8 yards. Vernon Fox coming like he's shot out of a cannon, and he's clean in the B gap. He's the